Mac, welcome to the waiting room. Finally got you on.
Finally got you, man.
Finally got you on.
Thanks, man.
Yes,
Thanks for
sir.
having me. Yeah,
It's an
yeah.
absolute pleasure. You're one of the people when we first started this podcast. We're going, oh, we need to get Mac on. We need to get Mac on. We definitely need to get back on. So, how have you
Yeah, I
been?
mean, coincidentally, I think this year is our 20th
Yeah,
anniversary.
Asmo was saying it's the 20th anniversary of Soundscape
Yeah,
Records.
yeah, yeah. So
So,
Yeah, man.
actually, I was
which
planning to do like maybe a series of gigs,
yeah,
and I mean just to commemorate on this special occasion. But I think, yeah, now it's all gone. Yeah,
at the minute it's impossible.
yeah.
So that's a good segue. So usually with our guests, when we've got the time, we just take them through the musical journey. Instead, we'll just go straight in. Soundscape Records. Give us the origins. How did it begin? What was the background into it? Why did you want to start a record company in
Yeah,
KL?
I mean, wow, it's a long story, man.
Go for it, man.
We
Go
have to
for it.
go back to
The,
the,
the
the
first
year of
the first the
19,
first first half of the show can be Soundscape
1997.
Records. Go for it, man. Like
Right? Oh,
No, 1997, I guess. Yeah, because um, actually, some of you know that I actually started with a Chinese label called Huang Ho.
okay,
mm.
That was I mean the early involvement. Huang Ho is actually one of I think the first Chinese independent music label in Malaysia. Yeah, I mean they started in way back in 1997. Yeah, it was actually the post Guinness Cantor Rock era. So
the
I mean, I'm not
post
sure whether you actually heard about
the
this
post the post Guinness and Canter Rock era.
competition. It was a competition that
Okay,
organized by this one of this major record label, and obviously Guinness. So that contest actually went on for a couple of years. I think it ended in the year of 1997. Yeah, but actually that competition is merely to me, I think it's merely a gimmick. Yeah, created by the record company and also its sponsors just to to adopt into this so-called music marketing strategy
yeah, of
back then
course.
because there were a lot of. I mean, of course, the good thing is it's sort of like unearthed this so-called Malaysian Chinese rock band back then. I mean, before that, we've never heard of any Malaysian Chinese rock band that existed in the scene. So I think that competition sort of like become like the starting point. Yeah, I mean, at least just to let the
That was the origin.
public know that we do have Chinese rock bands. But
So
then,
were you all in like different bands and you joined this competition? You guys met at the competition or
no, no,
how
no.
did?
We were just like observer lah. We didn't none of the bands took part
Okay.
in the competition because we didn't really agree with what they're trying to promote. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't be studying a scene based on like a competition. It's
No,
not right.
absolutely not.
So
That's true.
that's why, yeah.
That's true.
But we do feel that after the competition ended, a lot of bands were left without any avenues, to sort of like showcase their music or to pursue a
Yeah.
music career. So that's why the reason we start, Hong Kong. Yeah, we didn't start straight away because we actually organized a gig at Komta, Penang. Yeah, Hong Kong was started in Penang. And then we invited few bands from the post Guinness Cantoro era, and also a few bands from the Hong Kong collective. And then that gig was, to our surprise, was overwhelming. Yeah, I think we had about 1,000 people came for the show.
Oh
But then
wow. Oh, power.
halfway through, I think most of them just left because I think maybe because the promotion back then was really huge. Yeah, yeah. So, but then
Mm.
after
It's
they found out
e-
that there's
even
actually a rock concert,
even if half of
maybe they
even
thought
if
there's some
half of
kind
them
of
left,
like Taiwanese pop or Hong Kong
yeah.
pop music
But even if
artists.
half of
Yeah, I
them
thought it was
left,
Canto Rock.
even if half of
Yeah,
them left, 500 like kind of loyalists being there for just the music, just the good indie music is still a great crowd. Like
Hmm.
even if 500 left, and but you still got 500 like hardcore
Yeah,
like
yeah.
people in the indie music. Then you realize we've actually got a scene here. It was almost like it's almost like doing a census. Your gig was like a census. Do we have a scene? Oh, actually, we actually do have a scene. There's something we can now build on. Like, there's something here. Like, people are staying for the music. Like, fantastic. Like, even if you lose that amount, you're going, oh, everybody's leaving. No, 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 everybody's not leaving. Look how many who staying. That's the thing. That's the thing you build on then. Like, so
Yeah,
And
yeah.
your band played, and
No,
you
no.
for that
Actually,
started.
I joined them like pretty much later. Yeah, and I was not even at the gig at Comtown. Yeah, I didn't attend the gig. I only got to know them after a year later when
Okay.
there was this Chinese rock concert that happened at the Shah Alam Stadium. I think they
Ah.
back then there's this Salem power station, if you remember.
Oh, power station, man. Yeah. You
Yeah,
kids
yeah,
don't know about power station.
no,
Yeah.
but power station.
I was roughly about 8 years old.
Yeah,
I
I think
wasn't
so.
here.
Okay,
This
for
was
context,
97.
Derek. For the context, Derek, Power Station was a record store that Salem Cigarettes used to sponsor. So this one cigarettes could,
Salem
was important.
Cigarettes used to sponsor a record store.
Yeah. That's where you get your fix of music, man.
Where was it? Where was the record store based?
All over. There were
Oh,
branches,
there was
right?
Oh,
franchises. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
So
Mark,
the
you also playing in a band, is it?
yeah. After that, when I joined them, I think I decided to have a band because I think it's a lot more easier to talk to the guys or to work with the bands if you yourself actually become a musicians,
Absolutely.
because we can have the same mindset or
You can talk the
way
same
of
language.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
musicians are we don't trust people because especially in the alternative scene, we've been screwed over that many times by promoters and people like that. There, you just don't unless it's someone within your own group, you just don't trust them. Especially
Yeah.
if an outsider comes in going, "Oh, I'm running the gig. Do you want to come and play?" And you're like, look at them going like, "I don't know you. Where's this gig? What are we getting paid? What's going on?" So,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
so
man.
it's way easier to have been in bands. You played along with the bands, going, and then you go, "Oh, I've started a gig now. Do you want to come play? Or I've got a record label. Do you want to come and do some songs? And we're going to release something." And then they're going, "Yeah, excellent."
Yeah, everybody's a record label now.
Yeah, everybody's their own record
Yeah,
label.
no, different world now, man.
Yeah.
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 But so that like yesterday, Azif was talking to me. It was right. He's writing a piece, so he's trying to say, when do you first meet Mark? So it's very hazy days for me then. But I remember the rehearsal space in QPEX.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that was damn rock and roll. I think there we must have met you, bumped you, but that was there was a period post you guys went to China. That was
Yeah.
quite a turning point, right?
I think that was during the Monkey Record era, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Was this
yeah.
was this
Yeah.
pre
Yeah.
the formation of Soundscape or after the formation of Soundscape? So Soundscape started in 2001.
Yeah, I think after because Hong Kong dissolved in 2000, late 2000, after we came
Okay.
back from the Beijing tour.
Okay, so
Yeah.
at what
Yeah.
stage, how did Soundscape come together? Obviously, your idea, your partner's idea. What was the origin of it? Why did you like? Where was the point where you went right? I need to start my own record label. Fuck this! I'm fed up messing about, not going anywhere with trying to chase
I
after
think you have to
records.
I think you have to go chronological, right? Like leading up to, because that was a period I found out later, only like 2001. I was like, oh, that's what happened. And then I got the documentary from you, right?
Yeah.
And that was like, yeah. So how did you lead up to that? Lead up to Beijing?
No, we always wanted to have like a tour elsewhere because we know for a fact that it's so difficult to make it here, right? And then so that's why, and then at the time also we were really into the Beijing underground scene. There were a lot of bands that are really like like for example like The Fly, No, and also this band called Tang. I mean they are it's really avant-garde, something that's different from the bands, artists like Trijian or even Tang Dynasty. Yeah, I mean, you can imagine they stay in this farmers village, like without much
Yeah,
resources, Yeah.
that's
I mean, their
hardcore,
life is
man.
yeah.
I don't know if the rest of the guys like you
Yeah.
guys seen the video, the documentary or not, but it's this village of just bands, right? That was mind blowing, man.
I mean, they're from everywhere, other provinces, I mean, they have no money. They just want to come to Beijing, and then because Beijing is sort of like the base, the base,
Mm.
and then they want to go there and then just to try out their luck, whether they can make it, as a
Yeah.
artist or even like play in a band. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
London back home. Everybody just want
Yeah.
everybody in every country in Europe eventually just want to go to London. They fucking because London's kind of like the source. They try to get fucking signed or play music. Loads of musicians go, I'm moving to London. Why? Because we do nothing here. I get signed in London, but then you become like one of 10,000 bands in London rather than being one of 20 bands in Ireland or where we're from. Like where we always told them it's better to be a big fish in a smaller pond, especially when in music, because eventually there's going to be record labels who want to just come to the smaller pond to see what else is there. But if you're a small fish in a big pond like London, you just see a million bands all the time. So they do. So
So Beijing calling then. So
Beijing
was it
calling.
what was that trip? What was when did the idea? I mean, like, was that sort of a zeitgeist moment, that tour, and how
No,
it
it's
played out?
even I mean the purpose of that tour is to sort of like it's more like a cultural exchange. We want to see what's actually happening in Beijing because we have heard a lot of good thing about the scene there. So we just want to go there and experience.
So
But then even before the tour, there was sort of like some kind of like differences already happening in the collective because some guys want to adopt the more like DIY style. They want to sort of um, like the Fugazi kind of ideology.
they want to
They want
they
to
want to
write,
say pure punk rock for punk
yeah,
rock.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like yeah,
But then to us,
ideals.
we were just starting out. I mean, the core leaders of Huanghe think that we should never compromise on the production quality.
no, I agree. But
We're very
that's a
like
that's a
particular about the recording quality.
but
I'm not
that's a
saying that using like this DIY or lo-fi stuff recording it's no good. But then at that time, at that point of moment, we sort of like want to raise the standard because
oh,
we were going against the Chinese
I
mainstream
I agree,
music.
but there's an idea about punk rock, and then there's what punk rock actually was. What punk
Yeah,
rock actually was is the reason those records sound so shitty is because they couldn't afford anything better. If they could
Yeah,
afford
it's
it,
not purposely shitty. Yeah,
yeah, if they could afford
you're
it
trying the
better,
best with what you have.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
you know.
the sex, never mind
Yeah,
the bollocks sounds. It's an amazing sound album because they had a budget to create an amazing sound album.
yeah,
The other bands like Fugazi and all, they couldn't afford to pay Albini, and Albini didn't know what he was doing back in fucking '89 anyway. Like so, like those albums sound shitty because they didn't have a budget, and Albini was a new producer. They didn't really have the quality to fucking create something amazing, even though they created something amazing by default. Then there's later on in life the punk scene later on where they've got the idea that to be punk rock means everything has to sound like shit, which is stupid.
yeah.
Punk rock's an ethos. It doesn't mean everything has to sound like fucking shit. You know, a shitty
Yep,
guitar
yep,
and a shitty
yep.
production and a shitty. Everything has to be shit. And you did it right. Production has to be good. Sound quality has to be good. Everybody has to sound professional. You can't just fucking fuck about and like
Yeah.
because you're
And you also trying to also kind of open up the minds for the Chinese audience, right? Because you gotta have that production level to entice them, right? And that's very important, right?
yeah,
So what that was a point of contention, was it? Of
yeah, very much. Yeah, because I mean, we kind of quite. I mean, we kind of spend quite a hefty sum on the recording, but in the end, I mean, obviously the sales is not doing well. So that also lead to like further like internal problem like disagreement among the members. Yeah, because the idea is to to reduce the budget so that we can record like more bands.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, more bands get to record their music, if you reduce the budget. But then that also means that you need to sacrifice a bit on the recording quality. So the two different types of like thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
So that thing actually been brought to the Beijing tour, and also I think because the two bands like Chongyang and Motion, they were like that was the first overseas trip, so they didn't know what to expect at all. But because at the time, I think they also went at the wrong time because early 2000, if you go to Beijing underground scene, they were heavily influenced by bands like Rage Against the Machine, Korn, Limp Bizkit.
It was a new.
So
It was
the
kind of
first
like
gig that
new
we
metal,
played,
new metal scene.
they were like 10 bands, I think 10 or 11 bands on the bill. I think 9 of them were like freaking like Korn or Rage Against the Machine. So there's no way you can compete with them. But then, because Motion kind of like live up to that. But then for Chongyang, it's so difficult because that kind of music is just like more like post-punk and art rock kind of music. So obviously, I mean, they have problem like convince the audience. There were not much of a reaction or response.
I would have took that as a challenge. My old band back in Ireland, we were called Gwen Stacy, and we were sort of like that. We were kind of like sort of Glassjawish, but we were always lumped in and playing along with all the Northern Ireland metal scene. So it was all we were one band who were sort of like Glassjaw sounding, and every other band was just metal. Fucking metal to the bone, like.
Same lah. My noise rock band Maharaja. We used to play grindcore gigs.
Yeah, so we always took it as a challenge. Like these guys are going to hate us. This is a pure metal crowd. Like, so we took it as a challenge. Let's win them over. Let's always win them over. So we always went up and just went mental on stage. And we generally we would win the crowd over just by fucking putting on a performance so insane that like they had to appreciate it. So like, I know the situation your band was in, like,
but it's different, dude. This is like going to a different country. You gotta see the documentary, man. It's like, oh man.
I'm sorry.
It's like crazy.
Sorry I didn't watch the documentary prior to this because I should have watched
Where can we watch it though?
It's online. I share you the links, guys.
Oh,
but anyway, but it's true. I mean, like.
Sorry, Mac. There's no research ever done for this podcast. That's the main thing about this podcast. We never do any research.
But I thought it was like, man, when I first saw that, this was already when that Huang Ho wasn't there, right? It just blew my mind. I mean, like, it was a big step. No underground legend band had done that. It was.
That's what it takes.
Yeah.
Just
man.
Have an idea. Well, I've got an idea.
Let's do it.
So who was
it was simmering already that difference within the camps.
Who were the first bands to release music on Soundscape? Do you have
actually, our first release was a compilation.
So it's sort of like Sub Pop and labels like that. The first release is a compilation of local bands, like the Big Six in Seattle and stuff like that.
Because I want to introduce the
it's always a good idea. Like if you're starting off something, you've got a list of bands that you want to get out there. Let's just do a comp album. Like Sub Pop did the same thing. Deep Six, stuff like that. There was all like just the Seattle scene. Like, so yeah, I completely understand.
So this was around the same time as Monkeys, 2001, 2002, or
I think they came out first with the album after
okay.
dissolved. I think they went on with the Monkey record, and then they put out that
compilation. My band was on that, yeah.
So after that,
Karma was on there, wasn't it? No,
I don't remember Karma. I think only Lang Mang
only. Okay. So then Soundscape punya compilation came out after lah. Okay.
It's just a few months, I guess. Yeah, because I think they came out early 2001. And I put out the compilation like July or August. So it was in the same year. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because 20 years ago, man.
Is it called?
Yeah, man, 20 years ago, dude. 2001.
Is it called Soundscape #1 or what did you call it?
Yeah. Because I have to make a very quick decision. When the guys came back from Beijing, we were at our clubhouse. We used to have a clubhouse in Cheras, where we put share our like books, CDs, and
Yeah.
that's our meeting point. I mean, for the like-minded. So we always have a meeting there. So the guys came back. Everyone was like so like demotivated. I mean, I just joined them actually. I was on fire, man. I was still on fire. So I told them I want to carry on. It was like almost like immediate decision. I said I want to carry on
Okay.
by myself. So I decided to name it after it was actually a music column that I have in the Sinchu Daily.
What was it called? What's so Soundscape was the music column?
Yeah, it's actually a title of my music column.
Okay, cool.
So I never give like never think twice. Like I actually regretted later on with the name.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Why
I really like the name,
Yeah,
to be
the
honest.
name's fine. There's no
I
wrong
don't
with
know.
it.
Yeah.
What would have you, what in hindsight, what was the cooler name you had thought? It's like when you name a band, right?
No. So the problem is when you start thinking about a
Cannot
cooler
already,
name.
couldn't think.
When you start thinking
Yeah.
about a cooler name, it's going to sound shit. Like just name it what you think, and then you make the name become cool. You don't try to think of the cool name. Like
Yes,
so, Sub
I know.
Sub Pop is a terrible name. Like, but like it became a fucking cool sounding fucking name. Like, so
Because Daryl Go,
yeah.
actually he came to us like even during the Wang Ho days lah. He would give us like some write-ups and reviews. And after the label dissolved, and then he actually asked me why you name it Soundscape. I see like dubs, in his. So from there I know the name sucks. Sort of like. Yeah.
Fuck.
Actually, later on people did compare Soundscape with Wang Ho. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
because this label is like less avant-garde or less what you call it, progressive compared to Wang Ho.
So was that?
But that's the whole intention because Wang Ho was always at the forefront. He was like the big brother, leading
Yeah.
all the other bands, But then I want to take the back seat. So I want to push the bands in front because I think we have said all we want to say during the Wang Ho era. So I think it's about time we let the bands to be in the under the limelight. So that's the whole intention. Yeah.
So were all the bands on the label or came through the label? Was the majority? Just going to use a general term here. Was it all sort of kind of post rock? Because the one word I always associate with you and the bands that you brought through have always been sort of post rock sounding bands, like so like.
That was later stage of our Soundscape. Yeah.
Okay.
After I started touring like international bands.
All right.
Yeah. At the beginning, it's all like Chinese band, like different genres. Yeah.
Just different genres. Yeah. So the
There's
post
a lot
rock
of
thing became later on.
In our roster. Yeah.
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 So the first full album by a band was it
Rush.
Rush, right? Rush. By the way, it's Rush RU.C.SH. Sorry.
Because Rush is my surname.
Like your name, without an E.
quite apt.
So that's why.
So I mean,
so how they get there? Yeah.
Experience. They were very experienced because they are from Cameron Highlands.
Okay, Cameron Highlands.
You probably know them because one of the guitarists actually Chong, owner of a Soundmaker studio in Penang.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But back then they were so young and inexperienced. But I like their attitude because they're willing to push the boundaries. They know what are their shortcomings, and then they are sort of like when they give me the demo. To be honest, I don't really like the songs that I have. But then during the recording process, they sort of like chuck away the old songs, and then they came out with new numbers. I mean,
during the recording process.
During the recording, I think they wrote a few songs.
That took some balls. Like we're just going to scrap all this and just starting. That takes balls. That takes knowing what you want.
I saw that was actually a very important sort of like a transition period for them. So that's why I decided to work with them. Yeah, I think those days is more about, of course, music is important, but then we always want to emphasize on the the way of thinking, the mindset, the attitude, the spirit. I think, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I think here
1990s lah, yeah.
we'll take our first break, and then the second half of the show we'll go into the when you start bringing international bands over, and then of course Life Fact and the
Yeah.
birth of Life Fact. So we'll take a 10-minute break now, and then we'll go into those things in the second.
Actually, I'm
half.
good. If
Okay?
you want to carry on, I'm good with that. Yeah.
Well, it's going to stop in
need
a
a
minute
break.
anyway with Zoom, unfortunately.
Okay.
So we'll a 10-minute break. Are you okay with that? And then we'll just go back in it then. Okay. Okay. Cheers, Mac.
Cool.
And we're back with part 2 of the Mac podcast. Thanks for having us again, Mac. Sorry, been on it. Sorry, having us. It's not your
Thanks.
podcast. It's our podcast.
Thanks for being on it.
Our podcast. So, at what stage in Soundscape's development did you think we're at a stage now we can start bringing international acts to KL, or we can start thinking about bringing international acts to KL, and who was the first? In what year?
First, 2006, 33. I think asked me you were there.
Street Raw, first one. Was that
No,
second, third? No.
At that music festival, I mean, talking about international acts.
International acts.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Like
yes.
Masale, yeah, Western band.
Yeah, 2006.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Of course, I think we need to go back to the few festival that I did between 2003 to 2006.
Bring it through.
Yeah. Like a few festival with like Asian lineups. So that sort of like opened up the my contact with the whole Asia, because through that the few festival that I organized, I managed to hook up with a lot of like promoters, label owners, and also festival organizers from various Asian country.
I'm sure the Asian country, I'm sure everybody was kind of like sort of it was like blood in the water with sharks. It was like as soon as someone heard, oh, Malaysia's got someone, we can go there now as well. Like it was just like everybody's like contacting you, going like.
To be honest, it's really difficult. When I first started bringing in the international bands, I remember the first 2 years, nobody was to come. To be honest, I gave up a lot of offers, tried to invite them, tried to actually bring them over when they didn't have a show in Singapore. No, but no, a lot of them just turned it down because I think. They didn't know what to expect from Malaysia. Back then, I think we don't have like so-called this indie like touring circuit. Yeah.
It's never been.
Yeah.
It's never really been. KL's never been on anybody's tour itinerary.
Yeah, I mean Singapore is known as the
Singapore,
hub
Singapore, Bangkok.
Yeah, Malaysia is where you fly over to Thailand.
Yeah.
That's all we are. We're worth the flight. That's all we are. I was like, where next? We're going to Bangkok. Yeah.
There is two main reasons for that. One being that there's never been really a strong alternative or indie scene here for bands to come here. Two is when bands do come here, there's a chance their gig may get cancelled at the fucking last minute. So like they're not going to risk coming here because like no one's the promoters and the bands aren't going to risk losing money at a gig to cancel a last minute show for reasons we all know the reasons. We don't need to go into
that actually only appeal to apply to the bigger acts. For indie acts, really, when they can play, without like a proper off the record.
You can play it. We can sneak in. You can sneak bands.
Yeah, they don't mind at all. Yeah. But I think it's because they don't have any experience at the time. Yeah. So true enough, I tried a few times, but finally I got it because there was a friend who stayed in Australia. It actually was a good friend of this band called 33. It's actually a post-rock instrumental band headed by Warren Ellis. Warren Ellis is now playing with Nick Cave in the backstage. Yeah, Nick Cave. So he sort of like helped me to book them, and then I thought to myself, I have to do it, by hook or by crook, because this is like this will probably like create another like opening for us.
Yeah,
so I think actually the whole idea is to bring in the international bands is to hope for we can have this sort of like a two-way like kind of artist exchange program, so that we can actually bring our Malaysian bands
Yeah.
to play outside. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the whole idea of bringing in the international bands. Yeah.
That was when I used to run gigs in my small town back home in Ireland. It was the same sort of ideology. I was bringing all the big bands from Ireland to the small town for two reasons: to get so local people can see them, but also to put local bands on along with them, so
Yeah.
local
Bring them
bands
out.
could
Yeah.
local bands could realize, no, we're not a million miles away from this band. We can hold our own. Like we're good enough to hold our own playing along with this band. Like, so we just follow their lead, and this is what it takes to get to that level. We just follow that sort of thing. Like, so I'm sure you were doing the same thing. You knew Malaysian bands were good enough. They just needed.
Yeah.
They just needed somewhere to play and put them all along with an international band, give them a showcase where, yeah, our local bands are pretty damn good as well. So like, we've got something to be proud of here. Oh, so then the audience then can go, oh, we don't need to worry about the international bands. We can still like them, but there's our local bands we can go and see all the time as well.
Yeah.
So
It's also like a learning process for them. I mean, when you get to see like more established bands that you like play here in front of you, I think mostly you can actually take something out of it.
yeah.
The cool dudes can hang out with,
Yeah.
they're not just like, oh, like, hey, he's not an asshole. But yeah, so that was the first move. The Dirty Tree was the first. Wow, that was.
It's also a very painful experience. I mean, you were there, you saw that there wasn't like many people.
Yeah.
I mean, back then Rome was like what the capacity was like 2,000 people. I think we only had like 200 people.
Where was it?
Yeah. Live Center. Yeah.
KL
Now,
Live.
KL Live.
KL Live now.
KL,
Yeah.
oh
Now it's
God.
called
Before that, it
KL
was
Live.
called Rooms.
Oh, God.
Many years
Rooms.
ago.
That's it's a hard mistake to learn, because you think, yeah, we can do it, and then, oh God.
I mean, I don't have any experience back then, like touring.
Like listen, man,
sort of like,
it's a hard learning experience, but like you want to put them on a really good venue, and it is a really, really good venue, but then you realize, oh shit.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's a big leap. Well, after that you did shows there, huh?
I mean, we make a mess.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did you
I
put
mean,
on? You put on
because,
Did you put on Mak WH there?
No, 2008 we brought the Explosion in the Skies. That show
Explosion in
is
the Skies.
it's amazing.
You had you had Placebo, Kula Shaker, kan?
No, it's by I think it's by Bad Boys, not by.
Oh, that's Bad Boy. But Kula Shaker was you, You can?
Yeah.
Kula
It was on the same day with
You brought Kula
Slash.
Shaker over.
You brought Kula
Yeah.
Shaker. Yeah.
Yeah,
Same
man.
day, the gig
Was
Slash.
it-
Slash.
What year was Kula Shaker?
They played the same year when Slash was playing in Sunway. It was 2017.
Yeah, 2010.
No. 2000. Well, I seen Slash and Sunway in 2015. So
I did 2010.
Slash came twice.
2011.
oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
they played Sunway twice, because I seen him at Sunway
Yeah.
in 2015. So
It was Sound of Drums or something, right?
Yeah. The latest album. Yeah.
Kula Shaker. Fuck.
Mm.
That's a flashback from 1995.
And then Godspeed also you brought in, right?
Oh, you
Well, that
brought
was you too, kan?
Black Emperor.
Yeah.
Where did Godspeed play?
Yeah.
KL Live. Yeah.
They're a
KL Live
fantastic
also.
band. Where did
That
So I mean,
one
you far went beyond making just amends. I think you
Yeah,
you brought the place to a different level. Definitely. Man.
that should have made you. Those bands alone should have like made you, like,
Yeah.
because fucking those are amazing bands. They bring.
And I mean, it's still a fringe act, yeah, to be honest. I remember that Godspeed gig was the only show in Southeast Asia. I had people like playing from Australia, New Zealand, even as far as there was one guy who came from Canada. I'm not sure whether he's on the trip or what. Yeah.
Wow, Canada, serious shit.
They're just that's
He
just
came
super,
all the way
that's
for
just
it.
super fans. They're just super fans. You always get a super fan of the gig, like.
No lah, he has a
Fly
Malaysian
from
girlfriend lah.
Canada. Yeah.
No, he has a
that's
Malaysian
right.
girlfriend lah. Come on
He
lah.
went and got the Tinder passport, and then he swiped right, I tell you.
Wow. So from then on, like I mean, like it was a very steep learning curve lah. I mean, you just took it with the Dirty Tree and just head on straight lah.
Yeah. There are a lot of ups and downs, of course. Yeah.
Of course.
I actually want to sort of like leave the Huang Ho legacy behind because I think it's about time for us to move on. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a different time, and so I think we have to try out something different. Try to, yeah. I think the whole idea is I want to export Malaysian bands. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last 5 years or so, I think I've been attending a lot of showcase festival. Finally, I reached to a point whereby I actually sort of like found the right platform to to promote the Malaysian bands.
Was
Yeah.
that would that platform be in live act?
It's more like they call it the showcase festival. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, where bands will play in front of like a bunch of delegates, people like us. Yeah, the festival organizers, label owners. It's more like a talent buying process.
Okay.
So you have like a few like known one in Asia, like Sandari, Bangkok Music City, and also like the one in Japan, like Music for Okinawa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's
So
like
what was that? What?
mm,
So that coincided with Lifehack being established. How did that come into the picture? Lifehack as an entity. Was that
that's
separate?
also, if you remember, we have this jam studio called Pink Phono, right?
From Pink Phone.
The
From
whole
Malaysia.
life.
Yeah.
So yeah, we took over that place from King. King quality shirt.
Yeah.
So we ran it for another like 2 to 3 years, but it wasn't doing well. So we had this crazy idea of turning that place into a gig place, because back then there were not many like a small like venue in KL.
Yeah.
So we will try.
There still isn't. There still isn't.
We don't have the capacity to do like a 300 or 500 kind of venue. So
Yeah.
we thought maybe we should just start with a small venue and see how it goes. Yeah. So
And it was fun, man.
Yeah.
Lifehack was the closest venue to where I live, man. It's the closest I could just go on the highway and go back. But that was good times.
I remember.
Yeah.
But which life hack was this? Was this the one in Taman Desa or?
Taman Desa.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
this was the one that was so underground. You had to fucking phone Mac to find the directions to the fucking place.
Yes.
The first time I went, I literally had to phone Mac and go, dude, where the fuck is this venue? He goes, where? And he goes, where are you? I go, I'm in the Irish bar. And he goes, all right. And this was literally the conversation. He goes, okay, walk down straight. Okay, turn to your left. Turn to your left. Turn to your left. Yeah. Turn to your left. If you see two uncles sitting outside on two chairs, just say to them you want to go to the gig. And I walk down, these two old uncles, and they go, "Oh, music is it?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Up there." I was like, what the fuck? I walk upstairs. I go to the guys. I go, "Geez, you are hardly fine." They go, and the guy goes, "Oh, we're underground." I go, "Yeah, so underground you don't want anybody to come to your gig. What the fuck?" They go, "What the fuck?"
I can share with you a gig that we have like at the whole life. There was this artist from Brazilian artist. He was traveling, in Asia, and he contacted us, and then we happened to like put together a show. And on the day itself, I think the flight was delayed. So he came late. I think he landed at around like 7 o'clock in the evening.
Oh God.
Whoa.
He came straight from airport to the venue, but he had problem. I mean, obviously he had problem locating the venue.
Yeah.
I think he was like looking for the venue for like almost an hour. So finally he found it, and then it was already like 9:30. I think the first two bands already finished a set, so he went straight to the station and started playing, and then it was actually there were like only 5 people in the audience. But after the second song, like all go crazy. They were so good. That guy was so good, to be honest.
Well, that's
We all go crazy. Yeah.
that's a sort of
All-
magic
yeah.
shows that just come together.
Yeah.
That's serendipity. Like this, it just happens.
Yeah.
It just all comes. But as a venue owner and as a promoter, it's not good for your health. Just the stress levels are off. Stress levels are off the fucking the planet. Like you're like, oh.
During MCO, I gained weight actually. If you can look at it, I'm 65 kg.
You gained what?
You
5
Gained weight,
kg.
Put on weight. Yeah, I put on
put
weight.
weight.
I know where.
Before that, I was always like
You're
below
big.
60. Now I'm 60, almost 65 kg. Yeah, so it's a good thing.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so healthier lah. Now-
So yeah,
oh
so
man.
just no more gigs. No more worrying about how many people's going to be in the venue. What time is the band's going to show up? Is the sound check okay? What the fuck is going on? Smoke a fag. Fuck.
Yeah, I remember going for a gig once at that Taman Desa Life Act. I think it was an Urbanscapes show. And then when I got there, it was so packed that people were actually standing on the stairs. And then when I went there, and then I think Suda was there. And then Suda looked at me, it's like, dude, I don't think you can go in anymore. Shit. So I'm gonna look at the band, he said you can just hear you can just hear the sound. So the door was open and you can just hear the band playing.
That's a good gig. Pat,
Yeah, man.
good gig. That's a good gig.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, it's a good show.
So that also explained why we decided to move to a new space there. Yeah. So yeah, the later stage we felt that I think it's better for us to move out and find like a bigger space, so that we can have more bands and also accommodate like the bigger audience. I mean,
Okay.
that's like natural growth. Yeah.
Yeah, natural growth.
I really like the old space. Yeah. Yeah. We still go
Yeah,
there.
man.
Because a friend of mine took
Yeah, it's
over,
a good space.
turn it into like a movie club. Yeah. We still
No,
go there.
I was
Yeah.
there. I was there one night for his because he's a friend of my. Yeah, your friend is a friend of my wife's, so he invited us for what. He had a Nirvana tribute night, so we went there
Yeah.
for the Nirvana. So he put on a Nirvana documentary. So we just sat there in the cinema and watched a Nirvana documentary. So yeah, so
A lot of
I'm
memories.
glad they left the stage. I played that twice also. One from
Yeah.
the Bob Dylan and one Rodriguez night. And I'm glad they kept it. I thought I come there, it like they tear off the place. No,
hey
lah.
guys, to
They-
be honest, I was never. I liked the venue. I was never a fan of this. Obviously, I was never a fan of the sound as a sound engineer.
Of course,
I'm
different,
quite
yeah.
particular,
That's
quite
true.
particular about the sound. Like so, like I was never. A fan of the sound. The venue itself, I loved because like like it's venues that I started off and I was like, oh, yeah, this is the sort of thing like I'm into. Like and the music that was always on that Mac and you always put on is the music that I grew up with that I love, like fucking that I used to put on myself, alternative rock bands, like so like that whole scene is music that I absolutely adore and absolutely love. So it's a treasure that sort of music is there and it always will be there as long as you're involved in KL. So it is fucking because like Murricaria does what Murricaria does. Murricaria sort of does alternative rock, but it also sort of does other things as well, and we all know. But what you do is very, very genre specific. It's very like it's very specific to the alternative rock genre. Now there may be 20 other micro genres within the alternative rock genre, but it's still very alternative rock. Like
But they always say that it's suicidal to bring to bring the bands that you like. You should bring bands that people like.
that's what,
genuinely-
like as a business owner, you should I always say you should never ever do, but you like I used to DJ for some cover for my friend DJ some nights, and I would back in the day, this way back like
What?
and
All the nonsense you talk, you don't tell us you were DJ once.
I would
What were you spinning, bruv?
Oh, it was so easy to get people dancing. Like this was back in the day, so I would start off with the start of the night was always started off with soul music. So you had Motown, you start off, then you get on the 80s. So you have 80s fucking kind of like electropop, and then you go on the fucking, and then you started going on the bigger tunes then. So it was always then, it was like Oasis and then Rolling Stones and stuff like that by the end of the night. Never play anything of my own really favorite tunes aside from maybe Sympathy for the Devil or something like that there. But just play the songs that you knew would keep the dance floor packed. As a DJ, that's your job. Pack the dance floor, keep them there. And as a promoter and as a venue owner, it's sort of the same thing. You don't want to fucking book for your own taste. You want to book for the crowd's taste, but you can't help yourself as well. Like you want to use their bands, you want to put on, like, and you want to see.
After a while,
You know yourself. Like, okay, I would like to see Mak WH for free, so I'm going to book them.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see
Of course,
that
I do-
shit.
Along the way, I do receive like offers from like some, I mean, J-rock band, or I'm not
Yeah.
saying that they're not good, but somehow it's just not our type, you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's difficult to for me to convince myself actually to go into that particular like scene. Yeah. So yeah, maybe just our nature.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you stick to what you know, and it's like it is difficult to like to try to put on that sort of music because you don't know what they're
Yeah.
expecting. Like you know with the alternative rock scene, you know what the bands generally want to a certain extent.
And also, I don't think we have that kind of resources to put up that, you know,
No,
the more like
not at the
commercial
moment.
kind of gigs. Yeah. So, yeah. Mm.
Because even like I work with the bigger sound companies, and even at our level, we're still not doing it the same way as they get it done back home as well. Like so, there's still sort of complaints about that sort of thing. Like so, not to denigrate our local scene because our local scene is really good and we're all good at what we do, but like they expect it at a higher level as well. So
But Lifehack always been situated at places which is great. There's always like the old place. There's a hotel across the street. Now you share a wall with a hotel, so it's always great for touring. You know,
Massage
well,
parlor. Well, yeah.
massage parlor there. Yeah, you gotta have all the important things a band need, man. Uh,
Yeah.
so how did you, on a personal level, how did you find So Watching from Afar? Where was the contact there? Were they just touring Asia and they contacted you?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. Because we already have like sort of like a informal kind of network. Yeah, an official network among all the Asian promoters. So whenever we got offers, like we will like sort of like put in joint offers to the bands and
all right, yeah, I see.
try
Yeah,
to set up as many gigs,
yeah,
many
just
stops as possible.
wait. You can
So
play.
it depends on
Have you come to
financially.
if you come to us, you can play here, and
Yeah,
elsewhere in Asia, like as well.
and it's so easy to travel around
Yeah,
in Southeast Asia, especially
that's
Asia.
great. Yeah, and So
Get
Watching from
flights.
Afar is a Irish post rock band who are friends of mine who I put on in my venue way back in 2004, and probably one of the best live bands in Ireland has ever produced.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
fucking amazing. Like,
totally.
they're
so that network was established in the past probably 10 years or so. Or
Yeah, yeah,
that's a
it's
great
kind of solid.
that's a great network to have now where it's not just come to Malaysia. It's more like it's like a fucking group offer. Like if you come to Malaysia,
Very important.
you can play Singapore, you can play Thailand, you can play Indonesia, you can
Yeah.
play Vietnam, you can play Cambodia, or you can play anywhere because you've got and that is the good thing about the indie rock scene where everybody just kind of like it is still DIY where everybody just goes like, yeah, you're putting this band on, yeah, we'll put them on as well, yeah, get them over,
Yeah.
we'll do the same thing. Like it's
Mm.
it's a trust thing as well because you all trust each other. Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, I think
definitely got Soundscape is a very strong link with Taiwan. That's also been the kind of like the last decade or so, right?
yeah, I think
The
it was, I think back in 2008, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, when we first brought Now and Citizen Ice Cream to play at the festival. Yeah, yeah.
mm,
It was actually sort of like the beginning of the partnership with yeah, Taiwanese labels and also like few festivals. Yeah, yeah. It's been going on for almost 10 years already. Yeah,
that's good.
yeah.
power.
That's
The
fun.
recent festival that I did, that City Rose, it's actually a collaboration between us and Taiwanese label. Yeah.
This was the one at Calpac, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So Mark,
I think it's not more
how
easier because yeah.
how has it been
Mm.
over the past 1 year though? I think we have to come to that question, like with the MCO and all that. Like, what was was the last gig, and how has Soundscape, even Lifehack for that matter, been operating and stuff over the past 1 year,
I think
even now?
for Soundscape it's okay because because there's no show, so I don't have to like put in a lot of investment to. I don't have any overheads. It's just me and also some freelancers. So it's okay to just put it aside, for the time being. But I think for Lifehack it's a lot more harder because we have we have we need to pay for our rental and utilities and stuff like that. So I'm sure you know we did like I think at the beginning, the first few months, especially we had a crowdfunding campaign.
Yep.
Managed to raise like a certain amount of money to pay up our rentals for like a few months, and then later on we applied for the Cendana. And Cendana, they have this venue recovery funding. Yeah, we got it, and then so we were able to sustain for another 6 months, six
no,
months or so.
no nepotism going on there at all, like with fucking Chindana. Hey, Asma,
Not at all.
there's no
You
nepotism.
think what?
going on there.
I approve everything. It just goes my. Husband's signature.
Oh,
is the one
looking
that
at you
approves
now,
all.
Asmin. Oh, looking at you now.
Every time
Oh, that's
Chindana,
cool.
every time Chindana gets mentioned in this podcast, everybody just looks at Asma and I was like,
Yeah, she
nothing
really
to do with
just
me.
had to
Hold on, let me
sponsor
take my
this.
checkbook. Where's my checkbook? But that's great, man. I mean, at least can sustain for a while, lah. So
I mean, the thing is, even if we decided to close shop, it's another headache for us actually. I mean, we don't know where to put our stuff. You know, there's a lot of equipment and gears in in there. So we have to rent another shop to actually to put all the stuff.
Was
You can't be
Skits,
selling.
was Skits album recorded during the MCO or just prior to the MCO?
Prior to MCO.
Just prior to the MCO.
Yeah.
But it was recorded in Life Act as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, only drum track.
Drum
The
tracks.
rest are Eric's home studio.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Eric's the bassist, and so the engineer.
Yeah. But now with the recent announcement, I mean, we don't know, like, you know, the current government just keeps turning around with their SOPs and all that. But
Put your
now,
left leg in, your left leg out,
Yeah.
your left leg
You know?
in, and you shake it all about. You do the MCO and you turn around. What the fuck is going on? That's,
yeah, you know,
that's what's going on.
yeah. So with the recent announcement that you know, in-house studio production is allowed and all this.
Nothing new. I mean, if you remember, they
Yeah.
actually they announced it already. I mean, during the RMCO.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, we did a few shows, but then it's still hard because I think to get people to buy tickets and catch a live streaming, I think it's still.
It's an unusual thing for people to have.
Correct. Yeah. But what about bands coming in to get their stuff recorded or even to jam and stuff? Are we allowed to do that now or something?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. With SOP.
how's that been? How's that been? Has that been
Has it
able?
started yet?
I think we are known as a live venue, so recording is like not really our thing. You know, I mean, if they want like want to do like live recording, there are a lot of places that they can do. I mean, they wish have better equipment or better setup or even like better sound engineer. We only have space and like backline. You know, we don't have like a lot of like a knowledge in recording. Yeah, we always have to hire people to help us out. So that's sort of like make it harder. Yeah. So actually to pivot to recording and also production. Yeah. Because I think the nature of the business still gigs. Yeah.
Okay, well, Mike, we know your time is short, so like usually at the last minute of the podcast, we let the guests give their own time, tell us what's going on with Soundscape and Life Act, and just drop your ads on your fucking whatever it is, like on your Facebook. So like the last minute's over to you, man. Just tell everybody what's going on with both Soundscape and Life Act in the hopefully in the next year. Whatever, if anything's going on, so go ahead.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat, right? I mean, because this MCO thing has made us like really like. I think we were the first to close, and I think it's going to be the last to open. I mean,
Absolutely.
our sector.
Always.
So I do see I do see why that we can survive solely on this like by adhering to the SOP. That's somehow just not good enough. I think, and also I'm not sure whether we can like go back to like the time when we have before the pandemic. Not sure whether people are still craving for shows. So there's a lot of uncertainties when it comes to, I mean, touring like international acts, whether they're going to open up the borders soon. Even if they open up, what's the SOP, the procedure like? How do we like go about in terms of getting the approval to bring in the foreign artists? So at this moment, it's really hard for me to say like what's the next plan, what's the next step for us. I think it's pretty much like a wait and see kind of situation. But then we've been around for 20 years. Even life hack also, this will be our like 6 or 7 years. So I think we
Well,
have enough experience. We've been through a lot. So we just wait for the right time to bounce back.
I think when everything starts getting going again, we'll get you back on so we get a proper podcast of
Yeah.
when everything's
Yeah.
kind of like going properly. Okay. So Mac, thank you very much for taking your time out to come on
Yeah.
for us tonight. Like,
Advice.
Thanks so
Happy
much.
birthday, Soundscape.
Thanks, Mark.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Hey, happy
We need a
birthday.
big beer cake. We need a big beer cake.
and number 25 of the weight room has just been dropped. So like,
All right.
cheers, guys.
Thanks. Cheers.
Okay.
Thank you, Mac.
Bye.
See you, man. Take care,
Bye.
man.
Be safe,
Bye.
man.
Bye, man.